In this video, I'm going to show you the best settings you can use in Fortnite to give yourself a huge FPS boost, particularly if you are on a low-end computer. This is going to help you win more games and it's going to stop your computer slowing you down. Let's jump straight into it, and the first thing you're going to do is load up the Fortnite client and then head to the profile icon and you want to come into settings. So the first thing here is window mode, and by far the best option here is full screen. It even says in this text it won't be easy to switch between applications, but the game will run slightly faster. Resolution, you'll want to set to your monitor's native resolution size. For most of you, that's going to be 920 by 1080, but if you're not sure, you can just come to the Start menu and you want to search for Display Settings and then just hit the Display Settings tab. And we can scroll down a bit where it says Scan and Layout. You can see my display resolution is 920 by 1080 and that's recommended for me. So we can come back to the Fortnite client and we're going to set that to 920 by 1080. VSync, you definitely want to set this to off. Frame rate limit is an important one to set correctly, and again, this depends on your monitor's refresh rate. So to find out the best setting for you, come back to the Start menu and search for Display Settings and hit the Display Settings tab. And right down at the bottom here, we want to select Advanced Display and then take note of this number here, as this is your screen's refresh rate. So I can see here my monitor is 120 Hz. So let's come back into Fortnite and I'm going to include some text on the screen for the frames rate limit you need to use here depending on your refresh rate. But basically a 60 Hz monitor refresh rate, you're going to set this to 120 FPS. 120 Hz monitor like mine, you're going to set this to 144 FPS. And so on and so on. Rendering mode, we always want to keep this one to performance, lower graphical fidelity for the best performance settings. Now underneath the graphics tab under brightness, I like to keep mine between 100 to 150, but this is personal preference and doesn't actually affect the performance. Colorblind mode, we want to set this to off. 3D resolution, I like to keep mine set to 100%, but you can lower this down to about the 50% mark if you really are struggling with FPS. For now, I'd recommend keeping this at 100, and if after finishing this video you're still struggling with performance, you can always come back to this at a later date and lower this setting. Nanite virtualized geometry, we want to set this to off. View distance can be set to medium, and you want to make sure both textures and meshes are set to low. Show FPS, I like to keep on, but again, this is personal preference. And report performance stats, you want to disable this one. Now we finished in the video tab, we can come over to the game tab and scroll all the way down to the bottom where you will find replays. Now you want to disable all of these because, like it says in the text here, this is going to reduce performance and take up storage space on your computer. Then come down into the energy saving tab, and you also want to make sure both of these are set to off. Now we can apply our changes to save them, and then we can exit out of Fortnite. But it doesn't stop there, as there are a couple more steps you'll need to take in order to improve the performance and FPS of your game. First thing we want to do is load the Epic Games launcher, and then tap on your profile icon in the top right here, and we want to come into settings. Now scroll down to where it says desktop notifications, and we want to make sure both of these are left unchecked, as they can cause FPS spikes when they pop up. So it's better to disable them, and then we can come back out of settings and into the library tab. Scroll down here to find Fortnite and then click on these three little dots, and you want to come into options. Now you want to make sure high resolution textures is unchecked, as this makes virtually zero difference in the game, but it will slow down your FPS quite a lot. And you also want to uncheck DirectX 12 shaders, as we are running the game in performance mode, so again this will have zero effect in game. And finally, you want to make sure pre-downloaded stream assets is checked, as this will mean the assets are already stored on your computer, instead of Fortnite trying to download them every time you launch up a game, thus consuming valuable resources. We can then hit apply and close out of the Epic Games launcher. Now another thing that so many people overlook is outdated graphic drivers. If you are running outdated graphic drivers or network drivers on your computer, they will and do cause performance issues. So there is one quick and free tool we can use to check. Just head over to an internet browser and we want to come to the website called drivereasy.com. And scroll all the way down the page here to the download section and then just hit this big download button. Once you've installed and downloaded Driver Easy, simply launch up the app and then hit this big Scan Now button. And what this is going to do is it's going to scan your computer for any outdated drivers, and it's going to make updating them super simple in one simple click. Once the scan's finished, just look through the list here for any outdated graphic or network drivers. And to update it, we simply just want to hit the update button here and follow the steps to update the outdated driver. You can also press this big update all button at the bottom, but this is part of the paid plan, so I'd recommend just sticking to the free version and coming into each of them one by one. Once we've updated our drivers, head over to the Start menu and you want to search for CMD. Then right click on the command prompt and make sure to run this as administrator. What we're going to do here is scan our entire computer for any corrupt files. You just need to type in the following command and hit enter. So you want to type in dism/online/cleanup-image/check health and then hit enter. I'll actually add this line of text in the description of this video so you can just copy and paste it. As you can see, my system is all good to go and no corrupt files were found. But if it did detect something, simply paste in the code here, dism/online/cleanup-image/repair health and hit enter. And then this will automatically repair those broken files for you. But you don't need to type in this code if no issues were found. I'm just showing you for illustration purposes. Then once we run those commands, the last thing we need to do now is type in sfc/scan now and hit enter. And what this is going to do is it's just going to scan your computer to make sure all of the issues were fixed. And once you've made all of these changes, your game should be now running a lot faster, as we are now running the best possible setup for Fortnite. If this video did help you, please drop a like and subscribe. Until next time.